A new year is upon us, 2026. Oh,
Have you noticed it has that New Year smell?
it's Eat, Drink, Smoke. Oh, dang it. I'm Tony Katz. That's America's favorite amateur drinker, Fingers Malloy. It is the true end of the year review. Now, we know a lot of people do the review. There it is. See, 2026. I promised myself I'd speak better. The review types of programs, but they don't wait for the end of the year. Not us here at Eat, Drink, Smoke. We wait for the ball to be dropped before we have the discussion with you. And we don't do a top 10 list. We don't do a top 5 list. Honestly, as Fingers Malloy would say, who has the time?
That's so true.
We do a top 3 list. Our top 3 bourbons and our top 3 cigars. Now, a little bit of housekeeping in this. We did grab a cigar to smoke. This right here is from Oliva. This is the Master Blends 3 right here, the Churchill. It's a 7x50, which means it's 7 inches long. Always makes Fingers Malloy laugh. And the ring gauge is the 50, the diameter of the cigar or how thick it is around. Again, with the laughter, a 64 ring gauge would be a full 1 inch around. This is what we decided to grab today. This is a Connecticut broadleaf wrapper. No, it's Connecticut broadleaf. It's not Pennsylvania, is it?
It's a Connecticut broadleaf.
It's Connecticut broadleaf. Yeah, I knew I wasn't out of my mind. Nicaraguan in the binder and the filler. I smoke these when I do my Monday through Friday show. I smoke on the air, and I smoke these a lot. Much bigger cigar when I first smoked it than I ever thought it was going to be, but a very, very enjoyable smoke. Smokes well. I've been having a lot of problems with cigars lately, and I'll get into that in the future, but wanted to grab something that we can have here with the bourbons that we're highlighting. The bourbons that we chose, or what we choose from, has nothing to do with what got released this year. It has nothing to do with what people say are the top-end bourbons. No. First of all, it doesn't necessarily have to be a bourbon. Whatever we reviewed, Fingers Malloy, in the past year is up for grabs. Anything we drank in the last year can be your bourbon of the year, your drink of the year.
Crystal Pepsi?
Done. We didn't have that, though. Couldn't find it. Couldn't find any Zima either. It was very disappointing. Secondly, it doesn't have to be a bourbon. We've done bourbon, we've done rye, we've done tequila, we've done rum. It could be we've done beer. It could be, I believe we did a canned cocktail this year. It could be, not good. It could be any of those things. So when you see our picks, it has to do with what we've done over the past year, and you can go back and catch those episodes. Just get the podcast wherever it is you get your podcast. Just look for Eat, Drink, Smoke. We're going to start with you, Fingers Malloy.
Oh, we are?
Well, we're going to start with you just in the basics. When you're looking at a bourbon of the year, and we'll talk more about this cigar right here, which I've been smoking a little bit more than Fingers before he got here. When you are taking a look, Fingers, at what you chose for a bourbon of the year, what were you looking at? What were you thinking about to be able to come to your decision?
First of all, I don't know if you felt this way when you were trying to compile your list. We've been doing this show now for 40
900 years. That's right.
Yeah. This was the most difficult year to put together a list for me.
Really?
Yes. I was looking back over what we had reviewed, and I'm not saying we reviewed a bunch of trash. We reviewed a lot of good stuff, but I was going over the list and nothing was really popping out at me. It was like, oh my gosh, I remember that. That was fantastic. There's a lot of decent stuff we were reviewing over the past year, but I don't know if anything really like moved me to the point where it was like, I need to run to the liquor store and have 3 of these in my liquor cabinet. I don't know if you felt the same way.
Not only, we didn't discuss this. We go into this episode blind. I think only yesterday did I learn what your 3 were. We don't discuss it. We don't go over it. Nothing. He sent me his list. I sent him mine just so we would know in preparation for the show, but we don't go over it. I so felt that way about bourbon, and I did not feel that way about cigars. So we do a top 3 list here. I had 4 bourbons or 4 drinks on my list because my number 1, teaser, not a bourbon. I had 11 cigars on my list. Ha! And it was hard. It was difficult for me to come up with the cigar list and to really give it its due, because I'm still not 100% sure that I've got it right. You'll have to tune in next week to get our cigars of the year. This is the episode for bourbons of the year. But I'm with you. It's not that anything was particularly bad, but if you go back over the last year, a common refrain from me was, it's not my palate, but...
Yeah.
Right? I don't really bag on too many. All right, one or two things this year. I don't really bag on too many beverages there.
Canned cocktails.
But it was hard.
Yeah.
It was there was. It could be that we've had so many things that some things just aren't as special to us as they used to be. It could just been the picks we made weren't necessarily home run. I feel very, very good about my top three. I would suggest them anywhere. But you're right. Compared to the cigars, there were very few bourbons that I was like, my gosh, we have to bring this everywhere.
And I think part of that, too, is we made a real effort this year to try things that aren't necessarily everywhere. They aren't all over the place, throughout the country at liquor stores. We were trying to go a little bit outside of our comfort zone and pick some things. Some things were great. Some things were just there. But... yeah, this was, and maybe part of it too is just the mood of the year. It's been an odd year, and maybe that had an influence on me as well, because, you and I have discussed this on the air and off the air. I'm ready for 2026.
I have never in my life felt like, my gosh, I can't wait for this to be over. I have never, ever, and I do this year, and I got to admit, I feel bad about it. Because I think it's a stupid way to feel.
Yes.
It's the New Year's is Thursday, and so Wednesday to Thursday, my life didn't change. It's not like, okay, anything I dealt with, I don't have to deal with now. Same crap.
Right.
I still have the same stuff I've got to deal with, the same nonsense. So I don't know why I think what I was looking forward to was the vacation, which I went to Vegas. Oh, we need to talk about Las Vegas.
Okay.
There are two things just off the bat. First, had one of the top 5 best meals of my life in Las Vegas last week.
The Casino Royale $4.99 hot dog.
No.
Oh.
Vegas is so out of their holy damn minds. You deserve to be yelled at. You deserve to be called every name in the book. If your sister was called a skanky ass hoe, she deserved it.
Wow.
That's you, Vegas. Oh my gosh.
They nickel and dimed you?
You are out of your heads. You suck. Can't wait to go back. You suck. Middle America cannot go. I saved for this trip. I planned for this trip. I knew it was going to be an eating trip. I gambled $90.
Wow.
The whole week and lost $90. I went for the food. I knew what I was doing. You're psychotic, Vegas. And you better listen to Steve Wynn, and you better change some things, because nope. And when people get angry with you, you deserve it. So we'll get into that. We will get into Fingers Malloy's. Fingers Malloy's. That's not easy. His top 3 bourbons. Keep it right here. This is Eat, Drink, Smoke. So what makes a bourbon worthy of our top 3? That's a good question. And the answer after 6 years is, we don't really know. It's Eat, Drink, Smoke. I'm Tony Katz. That is America's favorite amateur drinker, Fingers Malloy, brought to us by Flederman Von Rees. Timepieces for the family, for the future that will last and you'll pass down through the generations, assembled right here in Indiana. Go to Von Reest, R-I-E-S-T-E. Go to vonreest.com. Use promo code KATZ. That's my last name, K-A-T-Z. Get your discount. Incredible watches. Beautiful. Whether you want the quartz, whether you want the automatics, whether you want the Swiss mechanical, whether you're looking for the chronographs, Von Reest, R-I-E-S-T-E, vonreest.com. Use promo code KATZ. Get your discount, vonreest.com. Fingers, we're going to start with your top 3 bourbons here. So we talked a little bit about how it was hard to pick a bourbon this year because you were trying to think of what really stood out to you. But what was the criteria that brought you the top 3? Was there a guiding principle? was there very often with you, there's a cost conversation? We talked a lot about money and the cost of bourbon this year. What really moved you this year?
Well, first of all, for me, people who have listened to this show for a long time know that when it comes to money or cigars, I'm the value guy and Tony is the money shmoney guy.
That's right. That is right.
So I picked 3 bourbons that aren't all bourbon. That
They're not all bourbon?
No.
Really?
Yeah, that are under $50 a bottle, and some that are even lower than that. Number one for me, value, especially in this economy. Everybody's talking about an affordability crisis, and even though a lot of those same people are door dashing 10 times a month. Having said that, that was one of the major criteria. The other is I'm all over the map here because you and I talked about it earlier. I was looking over the list and I was just struggling to come up with something. And these are really, in a lot of ways, they're somewhat similar, but they also have some real differences with 1 or 2 notes. So it's not like, everything that I picked it's sweet and it tastes, has notes of caramel and vanilla. Mm. I'm a little all over the map. I just looked at the list and I thought to myself, that one's okay. That one's okay going down the list. Ooh, I really like that. And that led me to these 3 bourbons. And I did it with air quotes for you people on the radio.
So let's start with it. Number 3. What is the number 3 bourbon for Fingers Horatio Malloy?
We actually discussed this recently. It is the Kirkland Bottled-in-Bond.
One of the great values. This is purchased at Costco. This is the Bottled-in-Bond, 100 proof. Excellent pick. Excellent pick. Was it the size of bottle for the dollar, or was it the flavor?
Well, first of all, let me give you the mash bill.
Yeah.
74% corn, 18% rye, 8% barley.
That would tell you sweet with a little bit of a hot cha-cha.
Aged 4 years. The notes, it had some spice right away, caramel, vanilla, maybe some citrus, some apricot, and some oak. What I liked about this as far as a value pick is, first of all, $27 a bottle. This is a bourbon that you can definitely enjoy neat, but also if your friends come over and they say, I want to have this Bottled-in-Bond from Kirkland, but I would like to have a mixer with it, you won't cringe. To me, it is very solid. It's a great value, and that's why it's number 3 on my list.
I think it's a solid pick. And people, I think, still will be like, wait, you're getting bourbon from Costco? If you've ever trusted us before, they did a fantastic job on it, right? It's a Bottled-in-Bond, so same distiller, same distillate, same distilling season. These are the rules as set up by the federal government. It has to be 100 proof. It really is a lovely expression. You will drink that and you'll be like, wow, all right. How much was the bottle again?
$27.
Look at us. And then you will be able to enjoy an entire evening with friends. You can pour all the drinks you want, and you'll never once be like, it was only $27, okay. You'll be like, this is good. This is good. And it was only $27. It's one of those. So I think it's an absolutely fantastic pick, Fingers. I think that is smart. I could not agree more.
I mean, it's not like someone, you bring a group of people over, they see your bottle of Blanton's, and they say, oh, good, I've got some Diet Coke with me. Let me have whiskey and Coke. So you have no problem with people doing that with this.
Speaking of, flew to Vegas, as I said. This trip's going to come up a little bit, and took the Southwest. Southwest Airlines. Now, soon you'll be able to select your own seat. Southwest is changing. But I purchased the tickets that put you at the very front of the boarding. You know me rather well.
Yes.
There were no nonstops going to Vegas from Indianapolis for that had a first class. None of them.
Oh, okay.
None of them. So I went with Southwest. And then I got the top thing. So we get on first. And what do we get? Drink coupons. Get the drink coupon. And the choice was Jack or a Wild Turkey 101. got the Wild Turkey 101. Me on an airplane, had a drink, mixed it with the Diet Coke. Okay, first of all, yell at somebody else. I'm not in the mood. Secondly, it was so fantastic. My wife is like, give me one of those. And she says, I don't need the Diet Coke. Just give me a water. My wife is now drinking Wild Turkey 101 in water like she was a construction worker in 1976.
Wow. And that Wild Turkey and
Did
water.
her bottle, right? The little bottle, then finished my bottle.
Wow.
Yeah. All of a sudden, she's a Wild Turkey 101 girl. And I'm like, I don't know whether I should be concerned or thank the Lord above that you came into my life. With water.
Sure.
That's her mixer.
Okay. Nothing wrong with that. That Wild Turkey and water cost him $784.
And it was worth it. And we just did, where is it? It's over there somewhere. The Maker's Mark Special 101.
Yeah.
I actually want to bring the Wild Turkey in.
Okay.
And get into some of those more old school things as we've done. We talked, we are effusive about Old Granddad 114.
Mm-hmm.
Holy cow. It was good. The sweet on that, the hit on that, maybe it's because I was having it as a mix. And I'm not a mixed drink guy. It was so absolutely enjoyable.
And then
believe it.
you have to incorporate the 15% bump in enjoyment because you were on an airplane flying out to Vegas. It's science.
So you mean if I have it here in the Eat, Drink, Smoke studios?
Won't be as good.
Really?
And it also wouldn't have been as good if you were having the drink flying from Vegas back home.
Oh, no, it was.
Oh,
We did that too.
nice.
Oh, yeah. Drink coupons both ways, people. That's right. TK, living the big life. Keep it here. It's Eat, Drink, Smoke. Eat, Drink, Smoke. It is your cigar, bourbon, foodie extravaganza. I'm Tony Katz. That is Fingers Malloy. A very, very happy new year as we bring you our top 3 bourbons of the year. Next year, not next year, next week will be our top 3 cigars of the year. We actually wait for the end of the year, be in the new year before we bring you our top 3. And some people do a top 10, but they're willing to do way more work than we are. Top 3 is enough. Our top 3 bourbons, which is based on anything we had to drink and we tried this year. So it could be a bourbon, a rye, a tequila, a rum. It could be a canned cocktail. Spoiler alert, it is not a canned cocktail.
Why are you so anti-canned cocktails?
Because I've tried them. That was pretty good. That was pretty solid right there. Fingers Malloy has been going through his top 3. Number 3 on his list was the Kirkland Signature Bottled-in-Bond from Costco, $27 a bottle. An excellent, excellent pick. But Fingers Malloy, where are you for number 2 of the year?
I mean, Eat, Drink, Smoke Studio.
I know, but what is your number 2 pick?
Oh, okay. So this is my splurge bottle, Tony.
Right.
This bottle is $49.
And everything he picked was under $50. Was that planned?
Yes.
That was a plan. You gave yourself a cap. Bloop.
Yeah. And I actually made that sound when I made the cap. The international cap sound.
Bloop.
So, yeah, I want to keep things under $50 because times are tough.
Some people like to keep things on the DL.
Under $50.
That's basically it.
So I want
That is so dumb that it made me laugh. I apologize.
I want to keep things under $50. I'm the value guy on the show. I'm not claiming that what I'm picking is the best bourbon you'll ever have in your life. It's things that we have reviewed this year, and I always look for value.
Right. So then this is what you made your criteria.
Yes.
I get it.
Now, this also was the sweetest of the top 3. This is, I'm not going to say it's quite to the dessert bourbon category,
right?
But this is very sweet. It is the 2XO American Oak.
Okay. I did not see that coming, although you talk about having a sweet tooth and liking those kinds of things. No, I did not see that for you right there. Talk to me about the 2XO. Break it down.
So it is 92 proof. The mash bill is undisclosed. They keep it a secret. But I asked the boys over at the Fingers Malloy Institute of Institutes for Institutes. They said the mash bill includes a mash bill.
Nice.
So, yeah.
Hardworking boys over there in the lab.
We got a government grant to find that out too, and we thank Ask Lesko for that. Having said that, this is, like I said, it's sweet, but it also has a nice bit of spice to it. There's a richness to it. Caramel, vanilla. You and I both got a stone fruit note to it as well. Over the course of the year, we reviewed a lot of things. I really enjoyed this. This is number 2 on my list, $49 a bottle.
2XO, not a bad pick at all. I will tell you that this year, Fingers Malloy and I have no crossover whatsoever on our lists. You had mentioned earlier that it was hard to think of things that really came to mind as that really stood out, and things like that, and things you were rushing to, which only has to do with, some years we have those and some years we don't. And that's all there is to it. It's just, what is we picked? For me, that isn't the case. There are some things that absolutely stood out. As I said, to create my bourbon list was very easy. There were 4 things on my list, and I just had to make it a top 3. Cigars, 11. There were 11 cigars that are now part of my life because of this show and what we've tried. So it happens. Things change. There are strong years and not strong years.
I struggled to find 3
bourbons.
Yes. That's and again, it's not that we reviewed a bunch of bad juice this year. It was just previous years. I'm looking over the list. I'm like, oh, I remember that. I love that. Oh, I remember that. I love that. It just may be me. I am getting older. I'm 36 now, and the memory isn't what it used to be.
And you look great.
Thank you.
You look great. You look like a young Jim Fix.
Jim Fix?
Wasn't that the runner?
I have no idea what you're saying right now.
Really?
Yeah. I this may surprise you.
You look like a young Troy McClure.
Thank you. That's better. I'm not a running historian.
What?
I know it's hard to believe because
according to Twitter, you're a fitness influencer.
That's where I was going. Yep.
If you follow Fingers Malloy on X on Twitter, his bio says fitness influencer.
And you know what's hilarious about that? Because, I do this show. I also do my other show, The Snark Factor.
Right.
And because that says fitness influencer on X, you know how you get random pitches from people to be a guest? I swear once a month I will get a pitch from someone who is like, you're a fitness influencer, so you need to have Jack LaLanne's ghost on your show.
Doesn't know Jim Fix, but brings up a good Jack LaLanne reference. Oh, gosh. Fingers Malloy, we do need to move it into news of the week. We are smoking from all of this is the Master Blends 3. We're doing the Churchill 7x50. And you do want to get your notebooks out. What did you eat today? What did you drink today? The weather. It's been freezing in Indianapolis, Indiana, where we are. But you want to break that cigar into thirds. First third, second third, final third. Right, get your notebooks out. Start fresh for 2026. Get a notebook, write it down. What did you eat today? What did you drink today? And then break the cigar into thirds, first third, second third, final third. And what are the flavors that you get out of the cigar? This is this stick is a much bigger, stronger stick than I was expecting when I first got it. I found a deal on them and I got a bundle. And I'm like, compared to the Oliva V, or what I really like, the V Melanio, which I love and my humidor is filled with. Those are a much smoother presentation. This is much, much bigger, much more bold in its presentation compared to those. I'm not saying it's overwhelming, but there's a lot of tobacco here. You got the Connecticut broadleaf, which I love, happening with a lot of strength and vigor. It does smoke very, very well. It's got really solid construction here. But this is a bigger stick, I think, than people would think of if they're getting an Oliva V. Certainly the G's and O's. This is a bigger stick than I think people realize.
Yeah, I'm interested. I don't know. I know we don't. We're crunched for time, but to me, there's a little bit of cocoa, like a little bit of earthiness, and some oak. Are you getting any of that?
I think that with anything that's oak. Got that. I know oak is wood,
but it's not, specifically oak.
That Connecticut broadleaf, right? That bigness can come in a series of ways, and I don't think feeling a cocoa or some level of a dark chocolate is necessarily out of the realm. I'm a little more coffee on this, and I'm very, very tobacco on what's happening here. There's just a lot of strength going in to this stick, and so I'm taken more by the strength than anything else. I would also argue that in that chocolate coffee conversation, there's also a bit of a berry conversation that's taking place, right? Because you're talking about the coffee coming from, the bean and everything else, and that is where I think a fair amount of that flavor is. It's just has it has a strength that goes cheek to cheek and has a bit of depth.
So are you pairing this right now with coffee or Diet Coke?
Diet Coke on this one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Coffee,
I thought would be a little too much for me.
I've got coffee and it's nice. And, I also have a little bit of mocha creamer in my coffee today. So maybe that has.
Oh, you're all screwed up. Good Lord. Is this in your humidor for $17 a stick?
Yeah.
Okay. Before you say that, I want you to know that maybe your local lounge is different. I have found deals on this all over the place that would put you less than $10.
And then I would have several in my humidor for less than $10 a stick.
There have been real deals I found on this. The Master Blends 3. We're doing the Churchill 7x50. I think it's if you can find the deals. I mean, it's $17. It's a little bit of a push for the deals. Absolutely, no question. Keep it here. Eat, Drink, Smoke. It is 2026. Happy New Year, everybody. And we are doing our top 3 bourbons of the year. It's Eat, Drink, Smoke. I'm Tony Katz, and that is America's favorite amateur drinker, Fingers Malloy. What say you?
How did we get through almost the entire first hour without wishing everyone a Happy New Year?
I did.
Did you?
Many times.
I don't think you did.
I mentioned that it was the New Year.
Let's go back to the audio replay.
I wished everybody a Happy New Year. I did. Me.
Okay.
Tony Katz.
I apologize. For those of you just tuning in, Tony wishes you a Happy New Year.
I hope it's wonderful. I hope it's fantastic. I hope you drink good things this year. We're going over what we drank last year. What are our top 3 bourbons? We are reviewing, of course, or picking from what it is we reviewed, what it is we had on the show, whether it was a bourbon, a rye, a rum, a tequila, a canned cocktail, whatever it was that we tried on the show was eligible to be our bourbon or drink of the year. And Fingers Malloy, this brings us to your number 1. Your number 3 was the Kirkland Bottled-in-Bond from Costco at $27 a bottle. Your number 2 was 2XO. A lovely presentation of bourbon at $49.99, I believe. Mm-hmm. So you kept everything under $50. You did this purposefully. You want to keep things under $50, which brings us to your number 1 bourbon. The number 1 bourbon for Fingers Malloy that he reviewed in 2025 right here on Eat, Drink, Smoke. Get the podcast wherever you get your podcast. Just look for Eat, Drink, Smoke. And it turns out it's not even a bourbon.
No, it's not.
Shocking.
It's a rye. I knew that would make you happy. But Tony, this isn't a small rye.
Oh no?
It's not a medium rye. It's not even a large rye. Tony, it's a giant rye.
A giant rye?
The Redwood Empire Emerald Giant Rye. Coming in at 90 proof, Tony.
You went with the Redwood Empire.
Yes.
Okay, knock me over. I did not see that coming.
And here's, first of all, the artwork on the label.
Yeah.
I dig it. But that's not the reason.
It's of a giant picking up a tree.
How about that?
Yeah. That giant on the label looks like a young Abe Vigoda.
How's he doing?
You don't want to ask.
Oh, boy. Poor fish. Okay, so let's get into this. The mash bill, Tony, 95% rye, 5% malt barley. It is aged 4 years. Like I said, it's 90 proof. For me, what really is interesting about this is, okay, you get the rye spice, but there's a nice bit of pepper to it as well. So this is a little bit anti what I normally pick because
right.
I've usually got a nice sweet tooth. But this was very unique with that. You had the rye spice, but then you have that nice bit of pepper as well. It also has some citrusy notes, and it's got a good bit of oak. $35 a bottle.
I got to tell you, I am impressed. I am a rye guy. I like rye more than bourbon. I have no ryes on my top 3. And I swear to you, it didn't even come to mind. How's that?
See, I've told you 2025 was a weird year.
For us, for the show.
Yeah, well, in general, but for the show, definitely.
It was a weird year, man. I totally agree. We were discussing this earlier, and I the first time ever where I'm like, man, I'm glad that year's over. And I don't think that way. It's not the way I act, and I can't figure out why. For you, why are you glad this is all over? Even though nothing has changed. As 2026, nothing has changed at all.
As you know, Tony, I have 2 passions in life. One, live, laugh, love.
Right.
And then the other is monitoring social media outrage.
That's it. Those are his passions.
And the social media outrage this year was off the charts for a number of reasons, whether it was the election, of course, the terrible tragedy with Charlie Kirk getting assassinated, the economic difficulties regarding inflation, all that stuff. It's not been a good year on social media as opposed to previous years.
We have got world-class fraud going on in Minnesota, and by the way, all across the country, with how people took advantage of COVID funds and other funding for children. What's going on is massive, to the tune of billions when you talk about nationwide. And there are people saying, well, you shouldn't talk about that because that you're just going after a group of people, and that's just bigoted. There's no caring about the fraud because people have made it political as opposed to this affects everybody. You're white, you're black, you're Asian, you're Hispanic, you're Jewish, you're Christian, you're gay, you're straight. It doesn't matter. The fraud affects every single American. You should be opposed to fraud. We can't even agree to be opposed to fraud, Fingers Malloy.
Well, no, of course not, because everything is political in 2025. Everything is political.
So you don't see it getting better, do you?
Of course not. It's only going to get worse until one day the asteroid hits and relieves us of all of this.
Oh, are you a believer in the sweet meteor of death?
I look up to the sky every day wondering when it's going to happen.
Every night he's looking out at the stars and he says, you could fall on us. Come on.
But this Redwood Empire Emerald Giant Rye.
Giving him salvation in the madness.
I'm gonna have a little sample right
Fingers,
now.
are you ready for this?
I've been ready for this all year.
There it is. He's doing what's known as the Kentucky Chew, moving the juice around the palate, get a feel for it. I believe in the 2 sips methodology. The first sip to really set the taste buds. The second sip to really get an idea of the flavors. Fingers, Malloy?
It's exactly what I said. It's got a little bit of citrus. It's got a nice bit of oak. That rye spice is there. And then there's a nice bit of pepper. Now, it isn't a pepper bomb. It's not going to punch you in the face. Right. But that pepper is there. And as the rye spice dissipates on your palate, that pepper lingers and actually maybe intensifies a little bit. It doesn't play like 90 proof.
So you think it plays bigger?
No, I think if you said this is 80 proof, I'd be like, yeah, of course it's 80 proof.
Oh, so it's mild, easy.
It's milder. And not that there's a huge difference, huge jump between 90 and 80, but you start creeping up towards 100. People start thinking to themselves, wow, that's really going to hit hard. It doesn't. There's a nice little bit of sting on the tongue, gentle warmth in the chest, just really enjoyable. I could understand though why for you this would not be a go-to rye, because that rye spice is there, but it isn't it's not the thing that really influences your palate. And I know you're a huge rye guy.
What's interesting is that when we're doing the show, like there are times I'll be like, wow, or I'll engage like, oh, this is really something. But that's at the moment, and then I ask myself, does it really stick with me? Is it something that I remembered? And so for me, when I picked my top 3, there were things that I remembered. For what reason did it stay in my brain? Other than there was some other connection there that mattered. This one did not, but it did for you.
Yes.
The Redwood Empire, the Giant Emerald Rye is what he chose. Fingers Malloy, this is your bourbon of the year.
Yes. So $35 a bottle. It may be difficult to get your hands on, but if you see it and grab it, and definitely if it's at your local lounge, you have to give it a try.
How's it pairing with the Master Blends 3 cigar?
It's okay. For me, the rye and pepper may be overwhelming the cigar a little bit. But it's a decent pairing. It's not a great flavor medley with the coffee.
No.
The three together.
Do you really flavor that with a mocha?
That's all we had. You know what I've been doing lately? I've been putting heavy whipping cream in my coffee.
So that is a great way to do coffee, but it can really torture your stomach. If you do too much of it,
Well, speak for yourself.
It's not pretty.
I get 75% of my meals at a gas station. A little heavy whipping cream is not going to destroy my stomach.
Do you like the depth that it gives the coffee?
Yeah, and then it also takes a little bit of the bite away. To me, I'm really enjoying that, and I'm not putting any sweetener in, so it's nice just to be able to take a little bit of that heavy whipping cream and put it in the coffee.
No sweetener at all?
No, just the heavy whipping cream. But I was out of heavy whipping cream.
So you went with the mocha?
Yeah.
That's going to mess up your taste buds.
Yeah.
We have got more bourbon to try. My top 3 are coming up. Find everything we do at eatdrinksmokeshow.com. Keep it right here. This is Eat, Drink, Smoke. 2026 is here, which means it's time for a good year in review. It's Eat, Drink, Smoke. I'm Tony Katz. That is America's favorite amateur drinker, Fingers Malloy. A very happy new year to you and to yours and to your bourbon collection, which hopefully you will drink this very year.
This very week.
This very day. So we're going over it. Fingers Malloy already gave us his top 3 bourbons of the year, and his top 3, well, one of them wasn't even a bourbon. He started with the Kirkland Bottled-in-Bond. That is from Costco. That bourbon there on 100 proof at $27 a bottle, coming in at number 3. He then went to the 2XO. A really good pick, by the way.
American Oak. Yep.
That was a very, very nice pick. $49.99 a bottle. And he, in his number 1 pick, Redwood Empire, the Giant Emerald Rye, coming in at, what was that, $35 a bottle? 35 bucks.
35 bucks.
A bottle there. His only rules, he made them for himself. He wanted to stay under $50 a bottle. After that, there are no rules, except that we only are doing the things that we reviewed on the show. And we reviewed bourbons, and we reviewed ryes, and tequilas, and rums, and canned cocktails. No canned cocktail made your list?
Every canned cocktail makes my list.
Yeah,
I'm just not being specific what list it is.
It's funny because it's true. I've got my top 3 to get to as well. Now, Fingers Malloy decided some of the things that he was looking at was specific to the idea of price. I did not pay any attention to price whatsoever. Just so happens, nothing is above $60 a bottle.
Really?
Just so I did not look at price at all when I thought about my bourbons of the year. Same thing is true with cigars. We're smoking, by the way, from all of the Master Blends 3. We're doing the Churchill 7x50, coming in at $17.50 a stick. But as I said, you can find deals on these things. And I'm way further ahead. I started smoking earlier than Fingers. Way further ahead than you. You're into the second third. I'm into the final third. It is a coffee tobacco forward kind of stick, much stronger than you would get from certainly the Oliva V, or what I love, the Melanio. I think the Melanio is a spectacular smoke. I've got them all over the humidor. This is an add-on because I was able to find a good deal on bundles, and I have not regretted it at all. But it is definitely a bigger stick. Connecticut broadleaf. There's a lot more strength that you're feeling in this cigar. I'm pairing Diet Coke. He's got now a Diet Coke. He did have coffee. And then does it pair with our bourbon choices for the day? Maybe not. But our bourbon choices are based on what we selected for the year. The cigar is just want something nice to smoke with the show.
Yeah, great hand feel. If you're watching us on YouTube right now, you can see I'm showing you a nice even burn. The construction is fantastic. And like you said, you can find it. Certain retailers will sell it between $8 and $10.
Yeah, I when I got this, I found it online for under $10 a stick, and I said, yes, please. Let's give that. And I never tried it. It's weird. It's just it never fell into my thinking because I would be like the V, or if I'm doing Oliva, or the Melanio, and it never fell into my thinking. It is in retailers right here in Central Indiana where we are, retailers all across the country. But I found the deals online. I was like, that's fantastic, and now it's in the humidor, and it's been a joy.
When you do something like that, when you buy a stick that you've never tried before, you know absolutely nothing about, Do you just like to buy one, or do you like to grab a 5-pack that you see a lot of times so you can try it more than once?
I have to buy more than one because of the notebook methodology, right? You're going to go back, when you put things into your notebook, what'd you eat today? What'd you drink today? And you're breaking down the cigar. I'm always saying you go back a month later, 6 months later, whatever it is, and smoke it again. So I always believe in 2. I don't normally buy 5-packs. So there is a really fascinating philosophy about this, where the 5-pack, the packs they do sell well, right? This is something that people buy as opposed to buying a whole box. I find the 5-pack packaging to be disgustingly ugly, mediocre, and low class.
The cellophane.
Oh my God, the whole thing, it looks cheap as hell. And so when I think about doing my own cigars, we've talked about, I really thought 2025 was going to be the year. It will be 2026 of a Tony Katz cigar, something that's Eat, Drink, Smoke endorsed. I've been working on this, thinking about this, talking to people about this. I just haven't found it yet, really where I want to be, who I want to do this with. I have a couple of desires, and maybe some I won't be able to, and some I will. This question about the 5-pack comes up all the time, and I'm like, the 5-pack it is a cheap packaging. Then you take a look at some of the packaging that's out there, and it's like it's coming in a humidor. I am not a believer in this. The idea that, hey, you buy these cigars and it comes in a beautiful box that could be a humidor. Personally, I'm not down for that. I think that's overkill. But I do think that the presentation matters incredibly. It's so much a part of the story. The band matters. All these things do matter. They complement. It sets an expectation level. And I find the 5-pack to be just this, it looks like cheap crap. It drives me crazy.
I will disagree with you slightly on the pack that you can buy that comes in a humidor. Simply because that's what I bought for my first humidor. It was like, oh, here's a sampler pack of cigars, and it comes in a humidor. Because I didn't know at the time whether this was going to be a lifestyle I was going to get into. And, that's one thing we talk about all the time. When you are spending a lot of money on these cigars, you got to have a good place to store them. And I didn't know if I wanted to jump right in and buy an expensive humidor, and so it came with the box. I found it very quickly that a lot of times when you buy a pack like that, the humidor isn't something that you're going to want to keep very long.
So now I can get into a whole humidor conversation and how one of the things I've been working on in 2025 is a new company, starting with somebody we know, the owner of Premier Arms and PA Jewelers here in Central Indiana, who I do a lot of work with on the radio side, starting a company called Oak and Iron Supply. Very much based on EDC, everyday carry items and things like that. And we have brought in a whole line from Zycar. Now, Zycar is not a sponsor of this show, and you can use other cutters and other lighters and other humidors. But I brought in some of those things to have in the shop, including the Calavera line, which is, Dios de los Muertos. Kind of look with the skulls and very colorful, and that humidor with that ashtray and that cutter, which you can get as a pack, and we'll be offering it on the show in the next couple of weeks. And I chose that humidor for its style, for its look, and that it would be a little bit of an art piece and a little bit of a great first humidor. And then you can, of course, add cigars to it, as opposed to, and it does come with some cigars, but as opposed to when you go out and you buy a box and all of a sudden you realize the box price is so much more expensive because it's also a humidor. Mm-hmm. So what you're talking about was something purposeful. What other people do is engage it as, well, this is the packaging, and therefore it's commanding a higher price. That's the part that I have issue with. But I still think about a cigar, but right now, we're thinking about bourbon. My top 3 bourbons of the year, and they're not all bourbons.
Oh.
That is my tease, ladies and gentlemen. We will get into that. Make sure you have subscribed to the podcast wherever it is you get your podcast. Eat, Drink, Smoke. YouTube, look for Eat, Drink, Smoke, and be a subscriber there. We have a lot to get to. Keep it right here, guys. Happy New Year. It's Eat, Drink, Smoke. So how does one determine the best bourbons of the year? Well, first of all, you have to be a professional like myself and Fingers Malloy.
Yes, I determine it by weight.
I call us professionals.
That's funny, too.
See, Drink, Smoke. I'm Tony Katz. That is America's favorite amateur drinker. Fingers Malloy, we're not professionals. We never have been. We've never made the claim. It's a love of the art. It's a love of the juice. It's wanting to try things and sharing with you at that price, whether it's in our liquor cabinet or not. We'll leave grading systems in that to others and the pretentiousness to others. And there's a lot of pretentiousness out there. It's gotten really gross and really ridiculous. We are trying things. We're sharing it with you. You agree? You disagree? I hope you come back. Because we do appreciate you being here quite a bit. We are doing our top 3 bourbons. Fingers Malloy did his. I'm about to get into mine. If you missed any part of it, get the podcast wherever it is you get your podcast. Just look for Eat, Drink, Smoke, and subscribe. So when I came up with my list, and as we've discussed, I didn't have a big list. I went through, okay, here's what we drank over the last year. I had 4 names. I had 4 names on my list. And that was it. I'll tell you that in the number 4 position for me, one of the things that I came across was that I was only kind of half torn on one of them. Only on one of them. It was either to go with the Bulleit Bottled-in-Bond, which I found surprisingly good, or to go with this as my number 3. I went with this. This is Espy House. This was the George 1794. The most expensive on my list at $60.99 a bottle.
Look at you.
$60.99. I thought this was a very, very surprising piece. I had never heard of it. I had never been around it. I wasn't around anybody who had heard of it. It's a very pretty nose. Very pretty nose. It had a lot of the sweetness, the caramel, bit of butterscotch, some honey. It was surprising, I think, is what took me on this right here. This is the Espy House, not the Espy Awards. That's ESPN. This right here. The Espy House. Let me see if I can throw that into your camera right there.
Look at that.
Look at the Espy House.
Espy House.
I found it to be just so pleasant, just easy. It kept in my head. There are bottles that we try here, and Fingers will take some with him. We end up giving it away. This stayed, and I've always kind of kept an eye on it and taken a look at it, realized that we drank it then, but we haven't had it since. And
you're going to have your number 3.
I'm going to have my number 3.
Look
and
at
then I'll have my number 1 right there. Just a little sip right here. Excuse me.
Oh, look at you. He didn't even bother with the whole Kentucky Chew.
No, just I went right in. Right in right there.
Now, is it a little sweeter than you normally go for?
Yeah, well, first things first, 51% alcohol by volume or 102 proof. Thank you. Thank you very much. I don't have a mash bill here. That's undisclosed. Yes, a little bit sweeter, but beautifully presented, especially, again, surprising. Yeah, $60 is where a lot of people are like, okay, that's a kind of cutoff for me. I'm not so sure if I want to spend that money. I'm telling you, a refinement, a beautiful bit of sweet. There's a touch of heat that exists center chest, but it's just so pleasant, easy, as neat, which I think is one of the things that really moves me. Does it work neat? That's where I like to be. Not on the cube, not on the chip, neat. And if it does, that's where I tend to go. So Espy House, this is the George 1794. They also have a wheated bourbon. This I just think is just a beautifully done bourbon.
I feel like one of the themes this year, and it may just be recency bias with me, but I feel like I've noticed with a lot of the things that we reviewed this year where you would drink something neat and you're kind of like, that's all right. And then it took you going to putting it on a rock before you're like, oh, okay, now I get it.
There were a couple that really did shine when they were on a cube. That is absolutely true. More than maybe in any year we had that I was like, okay, that's worthwhile. But when it comes for me to say, where is my money really going? What really moves me? It has to be on the neat. The neat has to work as a presentation piece before anything else happens.
Yeah. So in
the main,
I remember that being sweet as to me, if I remember right. And then I thought there was also some like a little bit of dark fruit to it as well. But here's my question to you. Of course, the juice matters. But when you're putting together a bourbon collection that's going to be on display, how much does presentation matter to you? I mean, that's a really cool bottle.
Yeah, it's a beautiful bottle, and the way it's done. Again, I think presentation matters greatly. I think presentation matters a ton. I think this is a beautiful gift bottle. It's a beautiful bottle to have. Everything about it. I just totally dug it. The connection to George Washington, of course, and they have a rye. They have something called the Midnight, which is in this black bottle, which is super cool. I dug it. So Espy House is my number 3, and very, very, very happy with them. Let me get to a quick news story here, and I'll get to number 2 and number 1 coming up. You have got Lowe's purchasing a competitor. It's not Home Depot. That would take a lot of money. There's a group called Foundation Building Materials that is being purchased for $8.8 billion. Now, some people would take a look at this and say, wait, are people still really doing any level of home renovations? They've got 370 locations in the U.S. and in Canada, even if you've never heard of them. And I would argue that this is a great example of, as the economics of the country have changed, and people are done in a lot of ways with their home renovation projects, because they did that during COVID. This is just an opportunity thing. There was an opportunity to further increase their market share. There was an opportunity for cash to really talk, as the people are dealing with a tougher and tougher industry because, well, you did so many home renovations and so many home projects during COVID that they don't exist as much as they do. They don't exist as much right now as they did then. So it's a perfect opportunity. I really thought we'd see more of this in 2025. I think we're going to see a bunch of this in 2026.
What's interesting is it appears as though this company, it stocks more of the, like the construction type stuff, like the drywall, hardware, commercial doors, insulation, not necessarily, I want to go pick out a light fixture. Some of the stuff that Lowe's, so it seems like it's more of that type of product than what Lowe's focuses on.
So it's going to be helpful to them in supply chains and things like that. But the point is, this isn't as much of a sign of, the economy is bad and the economy has plenty of issues, as much of, okay, there was an opportunity. That's the way I take this buy. And let's see if it makes Lowe's more competitive. It's Eat, Drink, Smoke. Eat, Drink, Smoke. It is your cigar, bourbon, foodie extravaganza. I'm Tony Katz. That's Fingers Malloy. Happy New Year to you. I grabbed a Robusto version. What's the matter?
I just quoted Eddie Money off air, and I don't know why.
Well, if people knew you at all, that's kind of like a normal thing.
When Henry Lee Summer was just waiting on deck, and I went with Eddie Money.
I already finished my Master Blends 3 at Churchill, so I grabbed the Robusto version.
Did you really?
Yeah.
I didn't even notice you do that. Wow.
You're welcome. Kind of what I do.
Did you have them both sitting next? Did you walk over to the humidor?
Yeah.
Wow, I was so focused on having a really good radio segment here, I completely missed you leave the table.
So we're doing our top 3 bourbons of the year. Fingers Malloy did his, starting with number 3, the Kirkland Signature Bottled-in-Bond bourbon. He went number 2. He went over to the 2XO American Whiskey, which is, again, really nice pick. And he ended it with, what was it called?
It's the Redwood Empire Emerald Giant Rye.
Yeah, I remember it's the Redwood. the Redwood Empire, which was a pick from our digital expert, Sarah Smith. So congratulations, Sarah. You picked a number one right there. That was his number one pick. My number three was the Espy House, the George, 1794. We do this every year. We come up with our top three. Some people do a top five or a top 10, but they're willing to do way more work than we are. And it's based on what it is we drank here. And we did bourbons, rums, tequilas, ryes, canned cocktails. We could pick from any of those things. There really is no rule other than that. Fingers Malloy decided to keep himself under $50 a bottle. That was, for him, the thing that mattered. For me, I paid no attention to price whatsoever. It didn't matter to me. I didn't think about it, nothing. I said, what do I remember? And actually went back and listened to the episode, June 2025. We happened to be at Blend Bar Cigar. We happened to be there, blendbarcigar.com, where we've done a ton of our shows before we built the studios here. I am not an Irish whiskey guy. I've never been an Irish whiskey guy. There was a bitter there that doesn't work for me. I don't know if others would call it a bitter, but to me, that's what I call it. But there have been some that have just transcended. There's a different flavor happening. I have felt really good things about Redbreast, and I felt really good things about Middleton. And on this day, we did Keeper's Heart, Irish and American whiskey, coming in at 110 proof. Applause from Fingers Malloy. And what I remember was, this was first of all, it didn't taste like Irish whiskey. This was a crazy, luscious presentation. And we went back and listened to the episode where I took the first sip and I was like, smooth. It knocked me over. That spice that existed, that sting all throughout the tongue. But it was just it was so surprisingly not Irish whiskey that it elevated the experience for me. From the guys who had been doing the work at Jameson's, just this beautiful combination of these two things that was just bringing something, and the word I kept using was luscious, how it filled the cheek, how it enveloped the entire mouthfeel there. I love that stuff. More and more, I'm loving that stuff. So the Keeper's Heart, which I don't even have a bottle here. I don't know where. It may have been because we had it there and I didn't have a bottle here, but I thought I had a bottle here. The Keeper's Heart, Irish and American 110 proof whiskey, is my number two bourbon of the year. It's Irish whiskey. So there's only one bourbon on my list. I'm telling you, that's a little tease. There's only one bourbon on my list for bourbons of the year. This was a nice kind of, okay, I wasn't expecting it. How great is this? Bourbon coming in at $44.99.
Oh, geez, there you go. Nice.
So it was under 50.
So I remember, and you and I listened to the review again. When you mentioned this, the first thing I said was, if I remember correctly, it didn't hit you like a normal Irish whiskey, a typical Irish whiskey. And I remember that to be correct. I wish I liked Irish whiskey more. I wish I liked Scotch more.
Yeah.
Those just aren't things that I'm moved by. But I remember drinking that and enjoying it, thinking at the time, this doesn't taste like a typical Irish whiskey to me.
Yeah, and I do. I also stay away from it. But I think this was a bartender extraordinaire, Brian, who recommended this one to us, and it was just, it was great. It was a great feeling, and there was on the nose an ethanol hit for sure, 110 proof, but it was a nice. I thought about it. I've thought about it since. And so that's why it's on my list at number two, the Keeper's Heart, Irish and American, 110 proof.
So this is two in a row that are over 100 proof.
Yeah. The Espy House was 102 proof. So
no, I'm not saying that you shy away from over 100 proof, but it surprises me a little bit that we are now playing with two over 100 proof. I'm sure the third will be like 140 proof.
I am an enigma. I try my best. Fingers Malloy, we have news of the week to do.
Oh, we do.
We have a series of things that we need to get to, and we were talking about the economy a little bit. You found this story, USA Today, about retirees not taking required distributions, which is really, really weird. Vanguard, which of course is a massive, massive fund. By the way, we don't give recommendations. You invest wherever it is your investment professional tells you to invest. Was looking at required minimum distributions, right? 401ks, IRAs, right? And how people weren't taking these distributions.
Yeah.
And I don't know how that's possible. And 24% of people took a withdrawal that was too low to meet the requirement. I found myself very, very confused by this story.
I feel like a lot of people, unfortunately, want to do stuff on their own and just go ahead and take withdrawals out without actually seeing what the minimum that they're supposed to take out happens. And then a lot of times too, I believe in the story, it says people who have a really, really small IRA, like a really small balance,
right?
A lot of times just, who needs to take your required minimum withdrawal out? Well, you still do. It doesn't matter what the balance is, it seems.
So if somebody had something as simple as $5,000 and they're not taking out what they need to take out as required, they're getting penalized for it, and they're not. Yeah. You know, it's one thing when you've got 19 subscription services and you realize, like, after 8 months, you're still paying for that gym membership, or after 8 years. Like, that's one thing. This is your investments. And that's the part, maybe that's the part that kind of struck me as, wait, how is that possible? How are you not? And are you managed through some level of organization, a TD, a Schwab, and I'm just mentioning names. I'm not making any accusations. And they're not telling you? I don't even know how any of this is possible.
Well, so USA Today has a story that we're referring to. It says most investors who missed their mandatory withdrawal had balances under $5,000 in their account. I wonder, because I've noticed this, with Fingers Malloy Sr. moving in, a lot of these companies move away from snail mail and want you to go to an strictly online notification, email, or whatever. And maybe some seniors are just forgetting because they aren't getting the snail mail.
Not because they're not getting snail mail, because they don't know how to look at the other stuff.
Yeah.
It's not. Well, that's a problem. That is a serious issue. So that kind of blew my mind. I think the other part of this is, I'm taking a look at this economy. I know the issues that are out there. I'm surprised people aren't taking out more. Much more. Because they're not keeping up with the inflation. They're not keeping up with the new property taxes, the new car insurance, the health. Everybody I know, the health insurance went through. Not for me. I don't know why. Health insurance went through the freaking roof. People are out of their heads about this. So I'm surprised it's not being taken out. So this story kind of blew my mind.
Paranoia about making sure you have enough money to get through life.
So they're not taking it out because they might need it for the quote unquote rainy. Oh, that's even worse. It's Eat, Drink, Smoke. It's time to get to number one, my top bourbon of the year. And Fingers Malloy, it's not even a bourbon.
Oh, well, I assume then it's a rye.
It's Eat, Drink, Smoke. I'm Tony Katz. That is America's favorite amateur drinker, Fingers Malloy. It's also not a rye.
What?
It is shocking, but it is true. We've been doing our top bourbons of the year. Fingers Malloy went first, starting as he did with the Kirkland Bottled-in-Bond in third place. Second place went to 2XO American whiskey, and he ends it with the Redwood. What is it? The Redwood Rye? The
Redwood Empire Emerald Giant Rye.
He was a fan of it. That is his pick of the year. You can, if you missed anything, go back and subscribe to the podcast, Eat, Drink, Smoke, and you'll get all of this. My top three is a unique list. He said, Fingers did, I'm not doing anything over $50, and he came up with his list. I said, I'm not even paying attention to that. What moved me? What is it that I remember? And there were three things that I really remembered. Four, really. My honorable mention was the Bullet Bottled-in-Bond. Number three was the Espy, the George, which Espy House bourbon I thought was just absolutely terrific. And that is the only bourbon on my list, which is super weird. Number two was the Keeper's Heart, which is the Irish American whiskey, 110 proof. Really something else, even with that big sting. It was something else. But number one, since we first tried it, And I'm not sure when that was. Just a few months ago. I think it was early fall. I have not stopped thinking about it. I have been places where I purchased it for other people. I am surprised I still have the bottle. That bottle is right here. My number one this year is the Bacoo 12-year rum. Absolutely, positively, indubitably terrific. It came across a little thin at the first, and I do think that holds true. But excuse me, I'm going to take a sip right now.
Oh, look at you taking sips. Are you doing the Memphis Munch? You're doing the Kentucky Chew.
Oh, good gosh. What comes through in that sweetness, that creaminess, I at the time I said, it ends a little bit bitter, but that could be the dark chocolate that's going on there. The people over there at BacooRum.com, BACOO, talk about it as a tres leches cake. That's a really nice description of this creaminess and of this this caramelized kind of feel. It is truly sensational. Now, what's really weird is that my picks have much more sweetness.
Yeah.
Than oak. I love oak, except these picks tell me that maybe my palate has changed. And what I like has changed. The smoothness here, the no sting, the richness, that enveloping of the tongue, that feel in the lower cheek, the finish that lingers and lingers with this colorful sweet, and this. It's not like a traditional rum. You're not getting a Bacardi kind of feel out of it. Right. Just this will pair with anything. Pairs with the cigar that we're doing. The Master Blends 3 would pair with almost any cigar in my humidor. Would go with dessert. Go with after dinner. Go with before dinner. Afternoons. I'm telling you, the Bacoo rum, the 12-year has been a revelation, and they do an 8-year as well. I think they do a 5-year. Also, this bottle is $35.99.
Oh, look at you.
I cannot say enough about what I felt about it then and how I continue to drink it now.
Now, you are correct. We reviewed this the last weekend in September of 2025. Shame on me for when I go to the liquor store, I just walk to the bourbon section. I don't know why I don't buy more of this because I absolutely love it.
Do you want some? Do I have another
glass?
No,
I still have plenty of my rye right here that I'm very happy with.
I found the Bacoo rum is a must, and at $35.99, I should have told people this was your Christmas gift. Any party you're going to, any after New Year's party, here it is. Boom. There are no regrets. None. Not a single regret going on here.
So to a very successful 2026, the Bacoo 12-year, for me, the Redwood Empire Emerald Giant Rye, I have to pose this question to you.
Sure, I'm all ears.
I'm not proposing a change to what we do.
To this show?
To what I'm about to ask you.
To Eat, Drink, Smoke Nation?
To our Bourbons of the Year. Do you think people get annoyed that we call it Bourbons of the Year when a vast majority of the drinks a lot of years are not bourbon?
No one's listening. I'm not. We call it what we call it. I mean, we talk about the show as it is radio wise the largest bourbon and cigar radio review program in the country. That's what we are. We're on more radio stations than anybody. I think there are some podcasts that are bigger than us. But in terms of radio, there's absolutely no one bigger, and we call it what we call it. And I think that, I mean, if you think we should change, and instead of being your cigar bourbon foodie extravaganza, we've done more food this year than ever before. We're getting much better at that.
No, I'm just talking about the list.
Should we be the cigar beverage foodie?
No. I'm not talking about the show.
We can expand it out. List. Do you want to change it? We can call it the Joe Rogan podcast. That's not taken. You want to call it the Adam Carolla show?
What about the Runner podcast? What was the name? What was the name of that runner from last hour? Jimmy
Fitz?
Smits? Oh,
Not Jimmy Smits.
Oh.
Jimmy Smits was an actor from L.A. Law and West Wing.
And he, of course, endorsed the Dewey pot.
The
I think
neti pot.
Oh, neti pot.
The neti pot is how you clean out your sinuses.
Yeah.
Listen, we can, now I think we're fine.
I've sidetracked this again, is what I did.
It was called Bourbons of the Year. Those are my three, and I'm telling you, the Bacoo is fantastic. I'm sorry I didn't find this earlier in my life. It's just terrific. Now, if you missed anything, it is there at Eat, Drink, Smoke. We get the podcast wherever it is you get your podcasts. Also, two things. First, DefianceBeef.com. That's where you get your steaks. You know how good the Bacoo rum is with a ribeye from Defiance Beef? Absolutely sensational. It is right here in Indiana, directly to your table. Everything cut to your specifications, frozen, individually packed, and then sent to you. The strips, the ribeyes, the tenderloins, the stew meat, the skirt steaks, the briskets. It's all there. Order a quarter cow, half cow, full cow, whatever it is. We've been having a ball with these things. Did sirloins earlier in the week. Got some ground beef defrosting right now. Go to DefianceBeef.com. DefianceBeef.com. Use promo code EatDrinkSmoke. Get $150 off your order right now. Incredible beef. Aged 21 days. Tremendous flavor. You're going to love it. Finally, something you can be happy to feed the family with. DefianceBeef.com. Use promo code EatDrinkSmoke. You want to go in on a full cow with a buddy? You do that. DefianceBeef.com. Promo code EatDrinkSmoke. That's number one. Number two, what do we have geared up for 2026? Well, first, next week, we've got our cigars of the year. We wait until after the year is over to do our top three bourbons and our top three cigars. We will be doing cigars of the year next week. We still have more drinks to do. We've got more tequilas to add and other things. We have been working well on the food, and we're going to be building that out. The only thing we didn't get to this year, Fingers, that we wanted to was the book. We did not get to Let's Go Grill. I want that done. And I also want to bring about the cookbook. We've been talking about this. We've been sharing recipes, talking about things. There are things that we've tried from others and we want to bring to people. So that's on tap for 2026. But mostly, just a quick thank you. It was an incredible year for us, incredible year for growth. And we're trying things with the videos, and we're seeing great success there. So youtube.com/eatdrinksmoke. Check that out. The new website you should be seeing in about a week. For Eat, Drink, Smoke. You just go to eatdrinksmokeshow.com. Nothing about that changes for you. Looking forward to that. And thank you, Eat, Drink, Smoke Nation, for all the support. Fingers Malloy, Tony Katz. It's Eat, Drink, Smoke. Happy New Year, everybody.
Follow Eat, Drink, Smoke on social media. On Twitter, @Go Eat, Drink, Smoke. On Facebook, facebook.com/Eat, Drink, Smoke. And Instagram, @Eat, Drink, Smoke Podcast. You made it all the way through to the end of this video. We're proud of you.
You should watch more of our videos. Make sure you subscribe right there to Eat, Drink, Smoke, wherever it is you get your videos, on YouTube, on Rumble, and don't forget Instagram, Eat, Drink, Smoke Podcast, where we've got the shorts and some very cool things going on.